This is fucking disgusting. Like, that's not even real right now. Oh.
Oh, dude. Wow. This is crazy, man. Now a low energy Jeb Bush is actually speaking out. This is getting pretty out of hand, pretty crazy. Yeah, let me check. Jeb Bush be speaking out. Warns that the government's weaponization against Donald Trump and Elon Musk poses a grave threat to businesses in America. And it says here in this article, it's about time. And I agree, because after 91 bogus lawfare indictments and over $600 million in penalties against Donald Trump, a few honest businessmen and political leaders are finally speaking out. Good deal, guys. Now, the former Florida governor, along with Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir, published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this weekend condemning the politicized activist courts that are targeting conservative leaders for political gain. And they say, this does not happen in America. Joe Lonsdale told CNN, hey, the whole system right now is being weaponized and it's scary and it's wrong. This is what happens in emerging markets when it's not what happens in great countries like America. We need to stop. Yes, we do. And Jeb Bush quoting, every American has the right to be critical of Mr. Trump's politics. One of us ran against him in 2016. Yes, Mr. Low Energy Jeb Bush. And Mr. Musk's public persona, but equally before the law is precious. And these rulings represent a crisis, not only to the soundness of the courts, but for the businesses, environment, and that has allowed the U.S. to prosper. It's almost like they want this country to fail. They are, the fascists themselves who are making millions of dollars, like Letitia James on the side off of all of this, are trying to squash any entrepreneur trying to make it, which then makes the economy grow and makes America great. Obviously, this is kind of where we're at. If these rulings stand, the damage the damage could cascade through the economy, creating a fear of arbitrary enforcement against entrepreneurs who seek public office or raise their voices as citizens in the way that politicians dislike, which is very much possibly could be the what they want to happen. Now, here's the deal. Where am I at here? Oh, but there's just so much stuff. I'm going to make this quick, though. We'll roll through it. But the trouble for Fannie, though, Fulton County DA Fannie Willis and lover Nathan Wade exchanged 11,865 text messages before he was hired to prosecute Trump. And they both lied about their affair under oath, the timeline and everything. And the latest revelations against Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade could not be more problematic. For the two lovebirds, a new court filing revealed that this past week that Fannie and Nathan exchanged 11,865 text messages in the months leading up to their famed case against Donald Trump, and 18 associates for allegedly lying about the 2020 election. But trust me, when you really hear the phone call, it'll blow your socks off. I heard the original phone call way back in the day, and it's nothing like what they say. Trump was just trying to figure out what was going on. That's all. Find the votes, not his votes, but the votes. So the votes that are not counted, not his, just all of them in general. Let's get them all out there and let's count these things. And then that was all chopped up and made propaganda for the people in the media to acclimate the public so that they could pull this off without too much backlash. But the allegations could not be more serious. Wade and Willis are prosecuting defendants for filing false papers and making false statements to court. Yeah, you want to lie? Well, you're lying, and we're going to get you, but now we're going to lie to get you. That's pretty much what they did. And it says here the allegations and all this stuff. Paul Sperry reported on this that the number of voice calls, text messages exchanged between Fannie and her supposed non-boyfriend Nathan Wade for almost 11 months before she hired him to prosecute Trump. By the way, there has been a considerable amount of pinged data that shows otherwise with cell phones and timelines where they were overnight stays. And I guarantee you they probably could pull up audio because your cell phone's always listening to you all the time. If this was a government that had passed that banned TikTok app and this was a weaponized thing against the courts and all this stuff, they could actually just say, well, here's what we recorded on their phone without them not even knowing about it, which we have right to do now because the banned TikTok app would have allowed us to do such. But that averages 35 communications. God almighty. She talks to her dad 10 times a day. This woman she's crazy, obsessive. And it sounds like she's crazy and obsessed over getting Trump on top of that. But in a new filing in court, counsel for defendants in 2020 case have submitted telephone records indicating that Willis and Wade exchanged over 2,000 phone calls in the first 11. Just sitting there listening to each other breathe. Just like they're like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "No, nothing. I'm just watching TV." "Oh yeah, what are you watching?" "I'm watching Masked Singer and stupid shows like that." Anyhow, those calls, it is alleged, contradict the sworn testimony of both prosecutors and their relationship. They have insisted that they did not become romantically involved until shortly after Wade was hired by Willis. I want them to read the text messages in court. I want to hear I'm going to do this and I can't wait to do it. I want to eat you like an ice cream cone, stuff like that. I mean, you know how it is whenever you get with somebody in them first few, them days of that love, that new, before that new wears off, you got to, all that mess goes and all. But the investigator noted that a prevalence of phone calls made in the evening hours and suggested that some indicate that Wade had stayed overnight at Willis's home, despite denials on the stand. Challengers are claiming that the records indicate that Wade may have been over the home as many as 30 times during that period. He going in there for that afternoon tap. Does anybody remember that song, Afternoon Delight? Yeah, it's pretty wild. Anyways, in her testimony, Willis was combative, declaring, "It's a lie," when asked about romantic relationships between her and Wade. And hiring all this stuff, many of the media praised Willis, showing that what a good lawyer. And she is attacking the media, defendants, and critics. Of course, Wade not ever actually prosecuting a felony case before. Wade was an injury attorney. I know this sounds repetitive, but there's people that are tuning in for the first time. There might be somebody from the other side of the aisle who wants to check out this content and say, "What's this dude all about? His stupid haircut, whatever." And that's what it is. There was many lies, and he never actually prosecuted a felony case. Never did a RICO case. He was an ambulance chaser, an injury attorney. Just in here, Trump appeals judgment in New York City civil fraud case as a amount swallows wells to $454 billion with daily penalties. President Trump on Monday appealed the $450 million judgment in New York, which is $355 to begin with. And Letitia James keeps posting, like, "Look how much this is getting up to. This is what's getting up to." And she's probably they spending money before they even get it, giving all this money out to the illegals in New York. They need that money from Trump. They need it. They're like, "Man, we got to get that money so we can give some more illegals some money so they can buy shoes and shoot somebody." Anyhow, radical Marxist New York Attorney General Letitia James sought a $370 million damages when there was no victim. By the way, like I say, we'll repeat this again just for the people tuning in that say this stupid dude with a stupid haircut. I'm going to figure out what this stupid dude is saying. Let me go ahead and break this down to you. Once again, never was a victim. I'm not a victim, but the court tries to find somebody a wrongdoing, but the banks made money. The banks actually do their own assessment of properties before they loan money out. You can ask for money, but they usually, under that circumstance, they don't just say, "Okay, I'll take your word for it and give you money." They send out some of their guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have their guys go out there and check this out and make sure it's what's up. And the guys will be like, "Nah, man, this stuff ain't worth a darn. We ain't going to give them nothing off of it." And then they're like, "Yeah, we'll negotiate that a little bit." You always want to ask for the biggest number, and then you come back and forth. And their premises of what the Chinese people do with inflating their assets when they go to Wall Street, it's a whole different scenario because nobody does any actual appraisals in that aspect. They just rely on numbers that are given to them by auditors, and the auditors are working for the Chinese people. And so it's a whole different ball game. In this case, whenever you go to a bank, the bank sends people out to look at stuff. Then they say, "Yes, this is a good investment. We can make money if he doesn't pay. If he defaults, we'll take his mess and then we'll sell it and we'll make money because what he's asking for and what we're going to give him, there's room to negotiate. So we're going to roll with that." So guys, that's where it's at. Ungaron claimed Trump and each of his defendants participating in aiding and abetting the conspiracy to commit insurance fraud by the individual acts and falsifying business records and valuations causes of material or fraudulent SCSs for the intentionally submitted to the insurance companies. Now, here's the deal. Like I say, a lot of other investors have practiced under the same guise of that. They do the exact same thing. They need to do that. They have to do that. For them to make money, you have to work in this fashion. And so now all these companies are like, "Oh, crap, dude, I ain't trying to be all up in New York and do anything because, man, they might get me." And they will. They say they won't. Kathy Holtz will have to go out there and be like, no, we were just going after Trump. It wasn't political, but we were just going after Trump. So that's not you guys because you're not Trump. And if you try to act like Trump, we will get you. We will get you. And that's what they're all about. And I promise you that if you think for 1 second that you can, as long as you stay on the New York's plantation and do whatever they say to do. By the way, that's being held hostage to a certain extent because you can't speak out. It allows them to run through their policies, and it's ruined New York with a bunch of illegals. So don't speak out about it because then we're going to investigate you. Eric Adams found this out. As soon as Eric Adams started to actually buck the sanctuary state thing, immediately lawsuits started coming out about his property rentals. The FBI started investigating him for a sex crime that fell under the law. That was E. Jean Carroll thing, which I haven't heard anything about. I reported on that several months ago, that law that was passed with E. Jean Carroll so she could go after Trump. There was a lady that went after Eric Adams on the very last day when the law was about to be expired, and I don't know what happened to that. I guess since he went back to saying, okay, come on, sanctuary state, we'll just go ahead and we'll forget about that. Well, it's an ongoing investigation, so that we'll just push that to the side. And so now Eric Adams being held hostage because of the fact that he thought he could handle this, but he can't, is where we're at. And Texas governor responds to LGBTQ human rights criticism, and the UN could go pound sand. This is my last article. We'll get out of here for the rest of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Texas Governor Gregg Abbott over the weekend brushed off recent criticism of New York state laws that target LGBTQ individuals, as well as the crimes and the claims that such measures violate federal intentional human rights laws. Now, I still don't trust him. I know he's all up in some WEF stuff, and he's sitting next to Klaus Schwab. Yep. But anyways, that's where we're at with all that, and I just wanted to give you a little heads up of what was happening to Trump, and hopefully we can pull this through. Please like, subscribe, and share this crazy content, and if you could, just, like I say, just do your best. Keep your head up, because Mama said so. I'm out.